Hey, this is the Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 463. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to skin some minds. Now, hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
We are back. Good. What is going down?
Whole ton is going down. We're back with a very spooky, scary archetype of deck because everybody's afraid of Mill. So we're back in true form for this very sort of special holiday Halloween episode.
You said the M word. Please don't shut the show off.
No, it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about things. It's going to be great. And we got some stories to tell, some people to thank, lots of good stuff to entertain the good people out in the CCO Nation with. Before we get to any of that, we have to thank our official business daddies, FusionGamingOnline.com. They are your source for all your gaming needs, as well as Pile of Bones Brewing Co. They are the second coolest thing to come out of Regina, as well as the official beer sponsor for CCO Sidewalk Slam Season 2, right here on YouTube.
Jeepers creepers. Make sure you edit that out so it doesn't cause car accidents. Yeah, hey, couple things. I got to go over these with you.
Okay.
Got to go over these with you.
Okay.
FusionGamingOnline.com.
New website, growing pains. Bear
Yes.
with them, we'll get there.
Very much so. But you can still use CCO Summer promo code to get a discount.
Sure can.
And if it's your first time, welcome. CCO Perks promo code going to get you a store credit kickback into your Fusion account when you spend over 100 Canadian dollars.
Yes. And if you're a non-first-time user of Fusion, your account is still there. You just have to sign up for a new one with the same email.
That's right.
And then all of the things that you had there will be there again.
Mainly store credit.
Yes.
Yes, because your order history will probably be gone because you are a new account on the new website.
Yeah.
But you sign up with the same email you had, and if you had store credits built up, those will be there. And therein lies the growing pains where store credit usage on checkout or using store credit and a promo code at the same time, they're still figuring that out. So just bear with it all. We are having the same problems, and we do know about them.
Yes.
So
and
that's
we
the
have
first
made
thing.
sure that they know about them, so we're working on it.
Yes, and they do very much appreciate the feedback and the patience because, like we've said time and time again, everybody that works there is good humans, and they are working to do whatever they can in the meantime while this third-party website building enterprise, whoever they are, is working all these problems out for everybody.
Have they reached Plan C yet?
What's Plan C? Did you just bomb the whole place?
That's where we show up with a pocket full of change, and by pocket I mean sock, and we explain to them why they should be working faster.
I don't know. But they're probably used to it. They live in Winnipeg. Okay, that was thing one. Thing two. I have three things, actually.
Jesus.
Thing two.
Okay.
Big thank you to producer Gary and the Duffernavi Media Network for the network. And the studio space. We very much appreciate it.
We got a table and a TV and Jake the Snake and all kinds of stuff.
Jake the Snake plant in brackets.
Yes.
That was the second thing. Third thing, and this is an important one. Sidewalk Slam.
Oh, man.
So we're
cursed.
a little bit cursed.
It's cursed.
Maybe it's just Thomas.
No, yeah, Thomas.
Because Thomas was on. This is his second recording.
Yep.
Audio was fucked.
Yep.
Unusable episode.
Yep.
But instead of wallowing in self-pity, what we did was drank a bunch of Pile of Bones.
Sure did.
Including
the stunt beers.
the stunt beers are gone.
And you would have noticed that on YouTube where you should have been watching.
Because you should have been.
Man, you're really bad at that. I'm going to stop setting you up for it.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Here's the good thing about having those particular stunt beers gone is we can get more.
Yeah.
And we can get this.
Oh.
The best craft beer in Canada, actually, Pile of Bones actually just won last weekend for their Quark beer. We featured it on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
It won best craft beer in Canada.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
So what I can say is Pile of Bones Quark craft beer, the best thing to come out of Regina, Saskatchewan. Move over, Keel.
Oh, man.
You're second best.
Man.
In terms of craft beer.
I had that whole thing memorized, and I could say it pretty good, and now it's going to be all different.
You can say the same thing, except they are the best, and Kiel is now relegated to second. If we were drinking Kiel in whatever way, shape, or form, that would happen.
Weird.
Yeah, weird.
Weird.
Yeah, very weird. Very weird. Okay, last thing. We, the podcasting business, got a couple quick things.
Okay.
We're not talking about Vegas yet, but we do very much hope that everybody had a great time.
Agreed.
They should be home by now.
Yeah.
The Vegas trauma of us not being there, still a little bit too acute for us to kind of process. But
I opened my eyes this morning and I was like, why don't I have a headache? Why doesn't my back hurt? Oh yeah, it's because I'm sleeping in my own bed.
Bro, you don't have headaches and backaches in the morning?
No.
Oh.
Only when I've been up until 5 a.m. getting kicked out of a bar on Fremont Street.
Must be only me and producer Gary that are old.
Yeah, well, I'm young at heart, and that really helps.
Yes, you're a fucking child.
That's right.
Okay, so Vegas Fallout, we're going to be talking. Maybe there'll be some good stories we can tell or something. We'll use it as a warm-up for the CCO experience in Calgary coming up. June. November 15 to 17 is the Calgary Championship weekend for those in Canada who've qualified for the big Canadian Tour Championship.
Sure.
But if you haven't, because you're scrubs like us and want to drink beer and play Commander.
Come do that.
Oh, come do that. Oh, it's going to be so fun.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. November 15 to 17, f2ftour.com to get your Commander packages. That's where you go.
Yeah.
And then you can play games. You get the swag packages. You get some free stuff. And, of course, you can come stop by the CCO booth for some merch and games. We usually have, like, the big sidewalk set up so people can play with us.
Yeah, we got, like, the Dude Bros will all be there and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got lots of Dude Bros coming. Full house, 10 or 12 people, 10 or 11 people.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yep. We touched on SpongeBob and products in 2025 on yesterday's pre-show. We touched on the Commander format panel yesterday on the pre-show, and we touched on the changes to the blocking rule on yesterday's pre-show. So that's available anywhere you listen to the CCO and on the YouTube channel. So people who are going to ask about that, I just want to get it out.
And I'm curious to we asked the pre-show, but I'm going to ask it here again. What do you dear listener, what do you think is the most polarizing IP that could be brought into Magic if it's not SpongeBob SquarePants? Fictional only.
Fictional only. No world politics or religious history.
Yes. Because you just know someone's like, from the vault, Jesus, obviously.
Yeah, from the vault, history of the Crusades.
Yes, but no, also.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, what else I got? Hey, you said a spooky deck.
Spooky deck.
I do have to acknowledge our good friend Mac. He sent us a Halloween-themed art deck, but we thought, man, that's tough for the people that listen to the show only. And by far and away, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of more people who just listen to CCO audio only. And we didn't want to do those people a disservice, like driving in their cars trying to look up art and stuff.
Yeah, and we do highly recommend you take a look. We'll put a link to his Halloween deck down in the comments below, or not the comments, the description.
Yep.
Check it out. Like, he has actually cultivated a really good list of really cool Halloween themed art. There's body horror and all sorts of really cool stuff to look at if you're into that sort of thing.
Yes.
But the deck itself was kind of obviously just there because the picture was cool, and that doesn't lend itself necessarily to being a good deck or something we can talk about for people who can't see the cards floating next to our heads.
That's right. Yeah. Big thanks to Editor Joe for putting the floating cards in.
He's fun.
Yeah. Final thing. Patreon changes.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, this is like an administrative thing for people just to be aware of. Patreon is moving from a per creation to a monthly subscription billing model. Now, if you're a current patron, there should be zero changes.
And nothing
changes. So it's easy, and your monthly limits will still stay in place. So nobody panic. I've gotten confirmation of that. So everything's good there. If you have been thinking about Patreon or you want to support because you like the show, it's easier now because you can just sign up and you'll be charged, or you'll pledge the exact same amount every month, regardless if we do 5 shows like we normally do in a month, or 25 shows. Oh, can you imagine?
No. No.
So pledge with confidence. All of the benefits are still there. The nicknames, the Discord, invites to the CCO experience, invites to curbside pickup that you'd see on the TV right now. And we wanted to mention that because we've often been asked about like how many shows a month and is there a monthly limit? Well, now it's the same every month. So pledge with confidence. And we would very much appreciate it.
And it might open up an opportunity for us to do some kind of like patron exclusive stuff if we ever wanted to do that sort of thing. So if that's something that interests you, let us know. And this does open up an opportunity for us to do that, which is something.
You know what I really like about the potential of patron-only exclusive stuff is it doesn't need to be Magic related. It could be Ryan and Brando related. Ooh. And I'm not a huge fan of putting that on all of the main feeds that we broadcast onto, because people come for deck techs and Magic talk. And if we're talking about wrestling and whatever else we talk about, why Brando only ever wears pants because he lost a leg in NAM when he was only 35, and it still looks like he has 2 legs. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that we might get into. The history of Brando goes back to the Crusades.
Back to 91 BC.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So we have a deck.
Wait, I have one thing too.
You got a thing?
Sorry, it's a very small thing. People have been asking me about the BBO and the CCO YTC.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the midst of recording it now, but there's lots of different shots that I'm doing. I'm trying something new for me.
All in?
New for me this time. And it's taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated because like it's becoming the season in Canada where we only have natural light for 3 hours a day. And I'm at work for most of them. So it makes it tricky to actually get the filming in. But I am working on it. It's taking a little longer than I thought, but it should be ready very soon.
Any sneak peeks of what the maybe not the product that you're opening, but what set it's from? Or you want to leave that under wraps?
Well, everybody knows. I've told everybody a bunch of times.
You didn't tell me. I'm the only one that frickin' matters.
No, it's the Duskmorn Super Duper bundle.
Oh, okay. The TV bundle.
That's the right.
Okay,
that
cool.
is the right.
Are you going to keep the TV after?
I don't know, actually.
Oftentimes you destroy things as you open them.
Here's a little bit of a spoiler, a preview, if you will.
Okay, I will.
The box itself is much smaller than the box you typically get with one of these, any bundle that you buy, and it's much smaller. And while I haven't actually gotten to the part where I open it yet, I'm not actually sure how much stuff I can fit in it. So I don't know if I'll actually have any use for it after I'm done doing this, based on just the size. It's a different shape, it's a different size, so it won't like go in nice with all my other boxes that are all the same. So I might just end up, if somebody wants it.
I want it. You know what I was just thinking is when we do like a Commander Cookout episode on the new set we're building over there, maybe we could put it up on the shelf and make it look all fancy and stuff.
Like a little TV. That could be fun.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. But instead we could like put a little CCO insert into the TV so it doesn't say Duskmorn.
It's one of those. You know when you turn, what do you call those pictures where you which depending on which way they're turned, it's a different picture. There's like a lady that's like, ooh, and there's a ghost that's like, and then there's Duskmorn.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know what those are called. I'm sure if you know what that is, down in the comments, please. I actually am curious.
I don't know either.
And I don't know how to search a thing like that on Google because I was born in '91 and I don't understand how Google works.
Yes, very much so.
The deck. If you were listening last week, you know we're going to talk about the Mindskinner. And if you are an established Magic player, you will know that the Mindskinner is a mill deck, and everybody's afraid of mill decks because they're so powerful.
I win every time I play my mill deck. Just watch CCO Sidewalk Slam. I played Bruvac Beats in my slam and got pounded because my normal mill deck is a deck I'm attempting to make work in CEDH, playing all of the control and interaction and staple combos and tutors with Bruvac to double mill with Maddening Cacophony.
Yes.
That is it, right? 1 card commander with your commander.
Do you play the creature that does it too?
No, because it's like a 7-drop.
Oh, okay.
And it gets target player.
Only gets
and that's why Traumatize. I actually just put that in instead of Jeweled Lotus. But Traumatize is target player.
Yes.
Or target opponent, whatever. Maddening Cacophony gets everybody. And newsflash, We're not doing that in this deck.
No, we're not. We're not even playing Bruvac.
No. It is on my list of things that you ought to play if you have the budget to play mill, right?
And we're going to talk about that because budget aside, I think that if you're doing what I think this is, which is a air quotes casual mill deck, I don't think Bruvac necessarily belongs there.
You don't think?
I don't think it does. And which is weird, I think, because like when you look at a deck like this, and we'll get into the actual deck proper soon, when you look at like a Voltron deck, right? There's those, what do we call those? Like the tiers of how many times you have to hit somebody with your commander.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like a 7-drop is a 3-punch, 11 is 2-punch, 21 power, 1-punch.
Exactly. You know, we got a 10-1.
Okay, let's read them first.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Mindskinner. I got the scratchy voice, hey, so I can go real deep. I'm not used to being able to go deep. Okay, so 10-1, legendary enchantment creature nightmare. Blue, blue, blue. 10-1.
10-1.
Very important. 10-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The Mindskinner can't be blocked. Ooh, good when you got 10 power. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. Each opponent. That is so important when you play mill, that it's each opponent, because now each opponent mills 10. Mm-hmm. Each opponent mills 10. Now we're going to call 10 on turn 3. Sorry. We're going to call 10 on turn 3 greater than 10% of the library, right? Yes. Because you start with 7 and you draw 3, so you only have 90 cards left, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you play it on turn 3, you've drawn 3 cards. Your deck should be at 90, probably, or less.
Yeah.
And so it's a 9-pump chump.
Yes, and that still is actively bad.
But it's a 9-pump chump that kills all 3, and if it did regular damage, if you left it as a 10-1, it would still take 9 attacks to kill the whole table. Except this way, it kills them all at once.
It would take 9 attacks, yes. So if you had a 3-pump chump, that 3 pumps, 3 pumps, 3 pumps, that's still 9.
Yeah.
Last time I checked.
That is
right?
That is
math.
So
this guy still, he still checks the box, right, of 3-pump chump, but you just have to pump 9 times.
Yeah.
But it could be to one person.
Correct.
Right? Just like whoever's the furthest behind, and maybe that's the reason that people hate mill, is, hey, you're behind, I'm going to not hit you for 10, but everybody's going to mill 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, here's why I think that this is better the way that it is without Bruvac.
Okay.
In casual. Because, again, people aren't necessarily the biggest fan of mill, because it can be irritating. Whatever. That's all in your mind, I would argue. And
that's all in your mind, Skinner.
I think Ryan would argue that as well.
Correct.
I think that, and here's the thing. 10 is less than, and this is true, 20. Yes. And I think if you're going to mill your friends in a casual game for 20 over and over and over again, I feel like people are going to just kind of get salty when they just see their whole deck just eat shit. And it's like, yeah, fuck, whatever. Like, let's just go, you know? And you end up with a lot of that. And that's not how you want your games to end, right? Even if they're good, if they come to that end where it's like, right? And I feel like that's kind of where you would end up if you went too optimized with the Mindskinner. And I think this deck kind of strikes the balance where it's got Mindskinner doing Mindskinner stuff, and then it's got our boy, who did this one? Slap Bop?
Chris Slap Chop Bop Cock Slap. Yeah, him.
That guy?
Yep.
He's got his suite of bros that are in the deck. He picked a bunch of unblockable creatures.
We'll talk about them in a minute.
You could also do, in my hands, you could do slivers, or you could do merfolk, or you could do artifact creatures that have animals in the art. Like, you could do virtually anything, because the Mindskinner all by itself just enables your strategy, which is really cool.
Yeah, and oh man, I really like the Mindskinner along with the new blue Enchantress from Duskmourn. If you could find, if you could like, the removal and interaction that you put in the deck could be bounce removal to get blockers out of the way. That's great.
Well, they don't need to get blockers out of the way. Your guy can't be blocked.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, fuck their blockers.
Okay. Still use the bounce for your removal. Mm-hmm. But if you don't need to remove, you could bounce Mindskinner in and out and then use that as a card draw. Or you could bounce Mindskinner and then play it again for 3 and draw a card off of that blue Enchantress, right? So, because it's an enchantment. So you could find ways to be really unique and really lean in mechanically to it being an enchantment and playing little guys or big guys that are either unblockable or just pound. And then my favorite, the equipment suite, very reminiscent of my every creature type Orvar the All-Form deck that cares about merfolk and mirrors and wizards, right?
Yeah.
So let's fly through some of the nuts and bolts. We've got an Arcane Signet. We've got a Thought Vessel. We've got a Straticide. Nope, that's a pump. We've got a Soul Ring, Gauntlet of Power, doubling my islands.
Yep. And giving blue creatures +1/+1. That's for all blue creatures.
And then we've got a Caged Sun that does the same, but only for our stuff.
Correct.
Those are our mana rocks. And you say, oh, Ryan and Brando, that's only like 5 or 6 cards. But when you see the creature suite, lots of the creatures are 1 and 2 mana.
Yes, and some of them even we have a Silver Mirror, it makes mana. There's a Grand Architect that lets some of your other things make mana. So there's stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go. We don't have custom categories here, but
thanks, Slap Bop.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers. We'll do our instants here because mostly they are
they're all removal and 1 card draw spell. So let's do the removal, then we'll do the card draw spell at the end. We're going to start with Didn't Say Please.
Blue 1 counter spell. Its controller mills 3.
So that's less good counter spell, but it fits the theme. You got to appreciate that.
Yes,
we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, very good. Okay, then we've got a Flow of Knowledge. I actually really like this card. Instant, mind you, for blue 4. Draw cards equal to the islands you control, then discard 2.
Now, in my head, is there not a flow of ideas?
Yes, that is a card. Yep.
Is it an instant?
I don't
for
remember.
1 more, but you don't have to discard 2? It does the same thing? I feel like, and it has like a really cool, like these weird globally circles on them.
It does. Flow of Ideas. Draw cards equal to the islands you control for 1 more mana. It's 6 mana, and it's a sorcery. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Resculpt is 2 mana, kill a thing. They get a 4/4. Etherize is return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand.
That's a good one.
Rapid hybridization and Pongify. Kill your guy, they get a token.
I would replace the Resculpt with the one that gets their top card into play. There's a bunch of those now for the same amount of mana at the same speed that gives them a dude that's half the size.
A 2/2 instead of a 4/4. Yeah.
And then you don't have to be expected to carry around a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token to lend to your friend after you kill their dude.
There you go.
Because you don't have that probably.
No. Okay, sorceries. Oh,
let's do that one last. Let's do that one last because I like that card a lot. I've been waiting for 8 years to talk about that card.
Okay,
let's do that one at the end.
Season of Weaving. These seasons just continue to impress.
I don't understand this one. Here, though. Let's
it's a sorcery for blue 4.
Okay.
Choose up to 5 paw prints worth of modes. Okay, we feel the same.
Yep.
Okay. You can choose the same mode more than once as long as they are up to 5. Okay, so 1 paw print, draw card. That's a draw 5, FYI.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
It's pretty good.
Okay, draw 5. Or for 2 paw prints, choose an artifact or creature you control, create a token that's a copy of it. That could be good in this deck. Once we get to the creatures, some of them slap.
Sure.
And chop and bop. Shout out to Chris Slapbop. Okay. And then for 3 paw prints, return each non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. Ooh, that's kind of rifty, hey? But it gets my stuff too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because what are you making? Because some of the dudes are big and beat facey, but for the most part, I would imagine like 1's enough. And by the time you get to those people, because there's not a lot of ramp in the deck, so you're probably going to be playing your 9-drop 9/9s on turn 9.
Yes.
By then, you've already probably won the game.
Or lost.
And the extra 5 probably isn't going to really matter, so making copies of them isn't necessarily the best thing. So, like, I would say, like, something that clones something that somebody else has, or something that can make a copy of your Mindskinner, not because they work in conjunction, which we'll talk about in a minute, but because it's a fucking 10-1 that makes everybody mill 10.
Listen, I like this. I like
Varenicus's Vile Duplication. That could be cost 2 less, gives you a 10-1.
Oh yeah, because
that flies and can't block.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's a good time to talk about if you have 2 Mindskinners, let's just mention that real quick.
Okay.
So if you got the Mindskinner, it says if a source would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards.
Yes.
If I clone it with a Verenicus's Vile Duplication, I get a copy of that.
Correct.
That is not legendary.
Also correct.
So I got 2 Mindskinners.
Yep.
Okay. If I got 2 Mindskinners, I can only prevent damage 1 time.
Correct.
So when that damage is prevented, each opponent mills cards. But can't be prevented twice.
That's right.
You've confirmed this?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 Mindskinners only equals 1 mill.
The best example I could think of, if people are still thinking, but I think it's still... Think of it as having a Rest in Peace and a Leyline of the Void at the same time.
Okay.
Both of them will remove a card from the graveyard as it's going there instead of putting it there. And why would you need to do that twice? It goes through the first safety net, it gets caught. The second safety net doesn't matter.
Those are a little bit different because those are...
They're replacement
Those
effects.
are replacement effects. This
so
is a damage prevention effect.
Which is a replacement effect.
Technically not. You're going to get the judges say, well,
Actually, but it works in the same kind of manner. You can't prevent the same damage 2 times.
Yeah. You know what? With going back to Season of Weaving, I really like land, 1-drop equipment or Soul Ring. On turn 2, you go like Arcane Signet or Lightning Greaves. Turn 3, you go Mindskinner. Turn 4, you go 2-drop, 2-drop. And then turn 5 or 6, if you played a Mana Rock, Season of Weaving, draw 5. Like, I just restarted my whole opening hand.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Or you could place Flow of Ideas and draw 6.
Exactly. Okay, Quantum Misalignment. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it isn't legendary, and this has Rebound, which means you can cast it. If you cast this spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of the next upkeep, you may cast the card without paying its mana cost. So you get to do this 2 times.
Pretty good.
Create 2 tokens, yep.
So that's 2 Mindskinners.
Yep.
That's 30 mill cards. So good.
That's really good. Oh, yeah, so if you got 2 Mindskinners, or 3 Mindskinners, they're all trying to deal damage.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter that I'm preventing damage or I can't.
Yeah.
Because they would deal 30 damage.
Correct.
So you would mill each player 30.
Yes. Having 3 Mindskinners and hitting with 1 will mill 10. Having 3 Mindskinners and hitting with all 3, mill 30.
Yes, not 120.
Yes.
Or
30
or 90.
bigger than 10.
Yes, sir. Oh, man. Sorry, I keep coughing.
Let's talk about this sweet sorcery, Ryan.
It's all coming out. It's all coming out.
That's gross. It's getting all over the mic. It's on the floor.
Yeah, I'm trying to not cough on the mic.
We'll have to
Sorry,
just...
everybody. We'll just spray this mic. I'm sure LB will love that.
Okay, here it is.
Okay, here we go.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, you read it.
Blue Bolt. Mind Bomb. Mind Bomb is a sorcery. A sorcery for blue. And I'll read it as it's printed in the 4th or 5th edition one that we're looking at here. Mind Bomb deals 3 damage to each player. All players may discard up to 3 cards of their choice from their hands. Each card a player discards this way or in this manner prevents 1 damage to that player from Mind Bomb.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't know if I can envision a scenario where I discard a card to not take 1 damage that's prevented.
Yeah.
That I just mill.
Yeah.
I think Mind Bomb is just like everybody mill 3.
But it's not everybody mill 3. It's everybody mill 9. Because it prevents 3 damage to 3
each
people.
Player.
Yeah. So it's we take 3, you don't take any, but you all mill 9 for 1. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Mind Bomb is so good. And then the art, which again, we're going to talk about not describing art, but we're going to describe this one because it's like an old World War II bomb, like coming down to, except it's exploding open and there's just a brain inside.
The shells are breaking off and it's
so
literally
awesome.
a brain. Because Mono Blue, I'm obviously smarter than you. Because I play Mind Bomb and I'm going to mill you 9 for 1. Oh, so good.
So like, I guess hypothetically, all of your opponents are like, okay, boys, let's all discard 3 cards from my hand to avoid. Right? No, but he's going to do that.
Yeah.
So it's mill 9 for 1.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I'm going to fly through these enchantments. We got 4.
Some of these are good.
Yeah, well. Okay. Mirror Maid is a 3-drop, copies an enchantment or artifact.
Yep.
So you're going to see why that's good when you see our artifacts. Patient Rebuilding is a 5-drop enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. That is mill. Then you draw a card for each land milled this way.
I think that's fine, but It costs 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably cooler stuff we could do.
Yeah, like, I don't know, frickin' brainstorm. If I want to generally just draw 2 or 3 cards. Yeah. Anyways, Imprisoned in the Moon is a removal spell.
Sure is.
It makes somebody's commander into a
wastes,
colorless land wastes. And then Court of Cunning is a mill card. It's a 3-drop. Enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, any number of target players each mill 2 cards. If you're the monarch, those players mill 10 instead.
This is important because if you have the Mindskinner and somebody hits you to become the monarch and you hit them, do you become the monarch because you're not dealing combat damage to them?
Oh no. Oh.
Right? Because none of that combat damage stuff works when you look at things like coastal piracy or whatever. Like if a creature would deal combat damage to a player, you get it back, or you get a thing, you draw a card. That doesn't work with the Mindskinner.
Whenever, this is verbatim what it says on the Monarch token that isn't worded wrong.
Okay.
Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the Monarch.
So you can't take the Monarch back with this deck.
Oof.
If the Mindskinner's in play.
Yes, and while we've already demonstrated, we're Mindskinning with 2 or 3 or 4 or more Mindskinners.
Yeah.
Ooh. Is that non-bow? Is that a non-bow?
A little bit.
A little bit of a non-bow.
A little bit.
Okay, so be careful with that one.
Because like the first thing people are going to do is just strip you of the Monarch.
Yeah.
And I know that because I play that in Obeka. And that's the one that people hate more than anything.
Because it's the mill one.
Because it's the mill one.
Yeah. Okay, creatures or artifacts?
Let's
do the artifacts.
Let's do the artifacts.
Yeah.
I think that the artifacts are kind of, I don't want to say they're set, but I think that there's a little bit more like wiggle room en masse in the creatures.
They are certainly not set, and I say that because they're all budget, because this deck is under $100, and that's really good. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't count. He's pointed to the price, but that's not the price.
I pointed to the price of the deck.
Okay.
Anyway.
We got. How about we just say Bone Splitter, cast for 1, equip for 1, plus 2 power?
Yes.
Because really, that's what we care about.
That mills 2 more cards off of each person that we are caring about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brass Knucks. When you cast it, equip it, so you got 1 for each hand. And equipped creature has double strike as long as it has 2 or more equipment attached to it.
When you cast it, you copy it.
Oh, what did I say?
You said equip it.
Oh, yes.
So you pay 4, get 2 of them. They equip for 1. If you have something with 2 equipments on it, they have double strike.
Oh, yes. Oh, man, here's one that I've always tried to get to work. Trepanation Blade. This is a 3-drop, equip 2. Whenever equipped creature attacks, defending player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. This creature, gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each card revealed this way, and then those cards get milled.
So they grind to land, and then everybody mills a bunch of cards.
Yes.
That works pretty good in this deck.
That does in this deck, yeah. And because then everybody would mill again.
Yeah. You just don't attack Aiden because he's playing a lands deck, and you instead attack probably Alex, because he gets lands hosed more than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love that.
And you're just going to mill him for like 14 before he gets his next land.
Yep.
And then just blow everybody up.
And here's the interesting thing about Trepanation Blade, though, everybody. You're not milling. Very important. It reveals cards from the top of their library, not mill. They end up going to your graveyard, but specifically the mechanic of milling is from library to graveyard.
Yes.
This is revealed first.
Yeah, they're going like from exile to the graveyard, technically speaking.
So they're not even going to exile because all this happens as part of the resolution of the ability.
They're just revealed.
Yep, they're just revealed. So if you've got a Bruvac in this deck, if you want to spice it up a bit or spice it down, you won't Trepanation Blade double. Yeah, no, you won't do that.
Deal.
Okay, Boner Horde. Living weapon plus X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards.
Pretty good.
Really good in this deck.
That's very good.
Really good. Ring of Evos Isle.
I like this one too.
Yeah, equips for 1, cast for 2. Equipped creature has hexproof until end of turn. You can pay 2 as an activated ability to do that. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1 counter on equipped creature if it's blue.
No. Very slow. I would argue that this is a budget include.
Yes.
Because, again, speaking from experience, this thing isn't going to last long. I'll bet you people are going to be way more likely to kill this than the Bone Splitter.
Oh.
By a lot.
I wouldn't. Mind you.
By a lot.
It does give things
Yes.
Hexproof.
Yes.
Okay. Fire Shrieker gives double strike, but Forged Battle Axe
That's the one.
gives +2, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a copy
Make
of
another one. And then you equip.
Yeah, but you don't though.
Correct.
Because the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. Right. This only works if you don't have your Mindskinner.
That's right.
Frick. I knew if we were doing this deck, we'd run into this trap.
Yeah, because I don't think people think of that. I'm not saying, we're so smart. But, like, I went through to make sure that some of this stuff worked the way that we wanted it to, and some of it doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, because Buttforged Battle Axe is so good.
Yep.
But here we are.
Give me Umezawa's Jitte. Give me the Jeet.
We'll just use a Sword of Body in mind.
Doesn't it have to deal damage?
You're right.
Frick.
You're right. See, I fell into the trap again.
Jeet is on attack.
No, it's not. It's damage.
I thought I was frickin' smart. Okay, Hall of Triumph. Hall of Triumph enters the battlefield, chooses color. Creatures of the chosen color get +1. That's good with all our little guys we're going to be playing.
Blackblade Reforged. There's a good one.
This one works.
Yes.
This one fucks.
Yeah.
Equip creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control, and equip legendary for 3. Equip regular normie for 7.
That's kind of sucky. I would replace what's that one? The Buttforged Battle Axe with a Nettle Cyst? It gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It's pretty okay.
Stratascythe enters the battlefield, exile a land, and equip creature gets +1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name.
Yeah.
So exile an island. We're only playing 34 of those. That's pretty good.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, we got a Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, and Duril Flame of the West. Ooh, equip creature gets +3/+1. You equip for 2, cast for 3. Whenever equipped creature attacks, create 2 tapped 1/1 white creature tokens with flying. Because they're ghosts. And not the shitty kind.
Yeah, they're good ghosts.
The good ghosts. Mm-hmm. If that creature is legendary, which it probably will be, instead create 2 of those tokens that are tapped and attacking.
Now we're talking.
So if we're equipping our Mindskinner, we get tapped and attacking ghosts. So it's a mill 12 now.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
It's
pretty good.
Not too bad.
And then finally, icing on the cake, you got to know that this card was most definitely in here. Might be the most expensive card in the deck.
By a lot.
Helm of the Host.
Correct.
Give it a read. I know you like this
one. Okay, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you would create a token that's a copy of equipped creature. If it is legendary, the token is not. That is all.
It gains haste.
Oh, yeah, it gains haste. I forgot that it gains haste.
Very important.
It's an equipment for 4 that equips for 5, so there's a big mana investment. Like 97% of the time, it's worth it, though.
Yeah, you know what the tricky part is like, Mindskinner on 3, Helm on 4, Equip on 5. Like I still haven't done anything. I got to attack, but now I'm attacking for. I guess 20. I'm milling 20 for. I'm milling everybody for 20.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
We're using such big numbers, like they're so casually. If I was saying I'm swinging at you for 20, you're like, holy shit. It's like, we're milling everybody for 20. It's like, yeah, fuck, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. I got 100 cards.
Who gives a shit?
But everybody cares. Now is the time that I say. Cards in your graveyard could be cards that you never would have seen anyways. Yeah. And if you're worried about your best card getting milled, add some redundancies in or add some graveyard getter backers in or change the plan. If you didn't know that card was there, you weren't planning for it, now you know you're not going to get it, so change the plan. Mill does nothing, and it's not removing any of your agency as a player.
Or do what I do. Here's what I do. Like Ryan does this high level shit. Here's what I do. I take the card that got milled that I really wanted, and I tuck it way down at the bottom of my graveyard, and then I make sure that my graveyard is nice and square so I can't see it, and then I just pretend that it's somewhere else in my library.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And then I don't feel bad because it's still in there. I didn't draw it. Darn.
I live in the real. Brando lives in the other.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
And both work.
Both work. Hey,
both work equally as well.
We have opposite opinions on something on the internet, and we're still friends?
What?
And we're playing a mill deck?
What the fuck?
That's mono blue.
Who are we? What have we become?
I can't make my voice go any higher.
Let's talk about dudes.
Okay.
Because there are...
Or in this case, they're blue dudes? Blues.
Okay,
I just made that up.
I like that. I like the top 2. I was excited to see these guys.
Oh yeah, and a little bit we're just gonna go through because a lot of these are the same thing.
But these first 2, I just kind of want to just give them the credit that they deserve. Yeah. They're bouncing and bubbling beebles.
Bouncing, bubbling beebles.
It's a lot of alliteration there for you, and they are They're 2/2s for blue 2 that are not indestructible, unblockable if your opponent controls an artifact or an enchantment, respectively.
Yeah.
And the Beeble are it's one of those little dudes that you'll see on lots of cards that people just like seeing, right?
Bouncing Beebles, unblockable. Artifact 2/2. Bubbling Beebles, unblockable. Enchantment 3/3. Big beats there.
Ooh.
3/3. That's a mill 9 collectively.
Ooh.
Okay. Cephalid Ink Shrouder.
Cephalid Dink Shrouder. He's basically a jockstrap.
Perfect for this deck because Jock Strap, Jock Slap, Chop Slap built the deck. Yes. Oh, man. Do you remember how much fun we had with that nickname in Vancouver?
Yes.
So many slaps and chops and bops and cocks and, so good.
It's very good.
Okay. Cephalid Jockstrap. 2/1 for 3. Discard a card from your hand. Can't be the target of spells or abilities and is unblockable this turn.
Sure.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Here it comes. No, you have to. You have to, Ryan. You have to say it. You have to say it now. Super serious.
Clammy Prowler.
Fuck.
I'm being serious, Brando.
What a stupid name.
It's from this is the Mindskinner's. This is the Mind Foreskinner's frickin' Clammy Prowler friend. They're from the same set. It's a 2/5 for 4. When the Clammy Prowler attacks, another target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn.
There are people yelling at the show, what's its real name, you guys? What's the card actually called? Clammy Prowler.
Clammy Prowler.
God damn it.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one, man. And what do you think it tastes like? Does it taste like the seafood section at the grocery store smells?
Yes.
Does it taste like clam chowder? Like, what's going on here? Oh, man. Between the frickin' jock strap, the foreskinner, the clammy prowler, is this the dirtiest deck we've done in a long, great while, or what?
Absolutely.
What do you think that this deck collectively smells like?
Oh, my God.
And what's about it being like a CCO Raw Dog budget deck? Like in Vegas, one time people put onions in their onion bag. Can we just have like a stinky fish bag? And this is it? I don't want that, but somebody has to do it.
We could do it.
Okay.
It could be possible.
Escape Artist. 1/1 for 2. It's unblockable. You discard a card from your hand. You bounce it to its owner's hand.
Yes.
So it doesn't die. It's escaping. Had a Spy Patrol is a level up 1/1 for 2. You level it up for 3 mana and it can't be blocked. You level it up 2 more times for 3 mana and it has Shroud and also can't be blocked.
You level it up one time and that's where it sits. It's
Yeah,
a 2/2 unblockable for 5.
Yeah. Okay. Metathran Soldier 1/1 for 2.
Unblockable.
All right. You know the drill. Oh, Peregrine of Gathering Mists. I play this. It's a 2/2 for 4. Other blue creatures get +1/+1. And blue, tap, another target blue creature you control gains while flying until end of turn.
Which is unblockable if you're kind of paying attention.
Yeah.
Because again, what's cool about this deck, we haven't really talked about it, is as long as you hit anybody, you hit everybody.
That's good.
So if one guy or two of them have flying blocks, but the other guy doesn't, flying is as good as unblockable. And
Yes.
everybody's going to take damage.
Yeah. You know what I like about it? It's taking the obnoxious and egregious mill half your deck, but doubled.
Yeah.
It takes that out of the game, but it still gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Next one is Slitherblade. 1/2 for 1.
Can't be blocked.
Vidalcan Infiltrator. Look at his creepy fingernails.
That's weird, man.
Weird, yeah.
Can't be blocked.
Can't be blocked. Okay, moving on. Archetype of Imagination. 6-drop. Creatures you control have flying. Creatures your opponents control lose flying and can't gain flying.
Fancy way of saying can't be blocked.
Mire Lurk Queen. Good creature type here. Crab Mutant.
Yep, solid.
Okay, 4/4 for 5. When it enters a battlefield, target player gets 2 rad counters. I don't think we care about that. Whenever... rad does mill.
It does mill, but like, fuck it.
Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled...
Yeah.
Draw draw a card, then put a +1 counter on Mire Crab thing. Triggers only once each turn.
So essentially, once a turn, you're going to get a counter and a card on that card. It's a good one.
This is a 4/4, then a 5/5, then a 6/6.
Yeah.
And it's also a Phyrexian Arena.
Yes.
Okay, this is good. Okay. Reservoir Kraken. 6/6 for 4, trample ward 2.
On a blue creature? What is this is a green creature.
This guy's going to beat. At the beginning of each combat, if Reservoir Kraken is untapped, any opponent may tap an untapped creature they control. If they do, tap Reservoir Kraken and create a 1/1 blue fish creature token with...
This creature can't be blocked.
There it is!
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, so you can tap, or you can mill 6, or you can get attacked, and we'll pump our 1/1 and give it double strike, and you'll be milling anyways.
I kind of like that card.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and fish one of those out. I like that.
I like
I
this
want that
card.
one.
Fish it out? You mean Kraken it out?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's get crackening.
Yeah, let's get cracking on this. Tromokratus. Oh, 8/8. Can't be blocked unless every single creature that could block
Is it?
blocks it. Okay, so what that means is if you have a tapped guy
You can't
and
block
an
it.
untapped guy,
Okay.
your tapped guy can't block it.
Right.
So it can't be blocked.
Correct.
Ooh. Also hexproof when it's attacking.
Pretty good.
Or blocking.
That's a
Oh, fuck, we're not blocking.
no.
we're attacking.
That's a neat card. I like that one.
Yeah. Okay. Essior Wardwing Familiar. Spells your opponent's control cost 3 more to target a commander you control.
It gives your commander ward 3.
Yeah. And it's a 3/1 flyer, which is hard to block.
Yeah, it's basically unblockable. Will mill 1 card.
Yeah. Jace's Phantasm is a 1/1 for 1 with flying.
I
Gets
like this.
+4 if an opponent has 10 or more cards in their graveyard.
Man, how are we ever going to make that happen?
Attack with our commander 1 time. Then we got a 5/5 flyer that mills 15.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Silvermere we talked about. Tempest Djinn, I like this one. +1 for each basic frickin' island we control.
Again, we're playing 34 of them.
Each pumpkin spice island we control is going to mill you for frickin' 3 now.
Yes.
Well, 1 multiplied by 3 players. And it has flying.
Correct.
Another crab. It's
I
like
like-
he knew I liked this deck. Cherix the Raging Isle.
Oh, shit.
A 0/17. That's my fucking kind of card right
For
there.
4.
For 4. Spells your opponent's cast that target Cherix the Raging Isle cost 2 more to cast. And it's got 3. It gets +X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of islands you control.
Do you think you've ever gotten to a situation, or somebody's ever gotten to a situation with Cherix where they attack in and they activate it, going, and somebody's like, hey, bud, you got 18 islands there.
Ooh.
And they just eat shit? You
Probably
think that's ever
not.
happened?
Probably not. I think 6 is fine because you go like pay 3 to give +6, pay 3 to give +6. Now you've got a 12/5.
But it's not up to whatever, right? Like, however many islands you've played. And you're probably going to play one every turn.
No, that's what I mean. If I got 6 islands, I use 3 of them and then 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I activate that ability twice and I give +6/-6, +6/-6. I'm going to have a 12.
12, 11, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And,
Oh,
and then I'm
God.
going to mill everybody for 12.
For lots.
Yeah.
For several.
Yeah.
Grand
Okay.
Architect we talked about.
Ambassador Laquatus is just pay 3, mill 3.
I forgot about him. I
Yeah,
don't-
he's good if you have infinite mana.
You could probably cut him, though.
Grand Architect lets you tap untapped blue creatures to pay artifact costs and abilities.
Are we playing the other half of the combo with him? It's not Pillapala. What?
We are not.
We are not. So
we are not.
we don't have infinite mana for Ambassador Laquatus.
Correct. Okay. And
Goodle.
he's not an artifact.
Goodle Lurker.
1/1 for 1.
Unblockable.
Yep. Undead Alchemist. Oh, I like this card. It's a 4/2. I've always wanted to make this card work. 4/2 for 4 zombie.
You've always wanted to make it work. Will it work this time?
If a zombie you control would deal combat damage to a player, instead,
So far, it doesn't work.
that player mills that many cards.
Well, shit. Okay.
Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from their library,
There it is.
exile that card, which is already good, and create a 2/2 black zombie. So
pretty good.
every creature you mill, I get 2 power.
Yep.
And that 2 power is going to turn into just more and more and more mill.
The first paragraph means nothing. The second one is very good.
Yeah. Blighted Agent. Infect,
Unblockable.
unblockable.
Remember, infect in this case doesn't work.
Yeah. Invisible Stalker.
Hexproof, unblockable.
Deep Sea Kraken.
You read the stats, and then I'll tell them the ability.
6/6 for 10.
Unblockable.
But it's got suspend 3 for 9 turns.
Yeah. Well, but whenever your opponents play a spell, you take a time counter off. This thing, I've seen this thing, like you go suspend for 3, and it's in play when it becomes your turn again. I've seen that.
Yeah, this card is
people aren't paying attention, and it just...
The only thing I don't like about it is to suspend it exists on the same turn as our commander exists on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you could suspend it on turn 2 after a Soul Ring.
Sure.
Or something.
Yeah.
Because Soul Ring doesn't let us cast our commander anyways.
Correct.
So just thinking about the play patterns and sequencing there,
Yeah.
be careful. Maybe add some more mana rocks if you find that Deep Sea Kraken and the Foreskinner are the 2 things that you want to do on turn 3 every time.
You probably don't want to turn 3 that, though. You probably want to turn 4 or 5 it, because that's when you're going to get into the two things in play, right?
Fleet Swallower, when it attacks, not a combat damage. When it attacks, target player mills half their library.
Sure.
Yep. Silent Hell Creeper, 1/1 for 2 with a bunch of abilities.
Unblockable.
Yep. Spark Double. Ooh, this one works.
That's a clone that will work with Mindskinner, and it's an 11/11 because it gets a +1/+1 counter.
11/2.
Why is it? Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I keep forgetting that it's so small.
Yep. Okay. Canoptic Scarab Swarm.
Holy Christ.
Okay. This is a 1/1 flyer for 4. When it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard.
Cool.
For each artifact or land exiled, you get a 1/1 insect creature token with flying.
It's pretty good.
This is graveyard removal in a mill deck, which is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of little bodies that you can spread across wherever they can get in to mill.
Correct.
And our final card, right?
That's the fact. This is, yeah.
Zelix?
Is he the most expensive card in the deck?
Oh, definitely. Definitely he is.
What happened there?
Zelix Sanity Flare. Well, this is the widescreen version. Maybe that one's only available in collector packs because it didn't come in commander decks.
Sure, okay.
Sure.
All right.
He has, whenever a player mills 1 or more creature cards, we create a 1/1 black horror creature token. That's good. Also, 1 tap, target player mills 3 cards.
Huh.
I like that.
That's good, but that's a lot of dollars.
Yes.
That's a lot of dollars
Yes.
for
Foil,
that.
$25. Foils are $50. Budget section real quick. We've got a $25 Zelix and a $10 almost Helm of the Host.
And Canoptic Scarab Swarm is $11 too.
And a Canoptic Scarab Swarmer is $11. Those are the 3 most expensive cards in the deck. If you did cut those 3, I don't think you lose a ton that you couldn't replace.
The Helm of the Host, maybe you lose a little bit of explosiveness.
I like, instead of Helm of the Host, I like any other equipment that gives double strike.
Yeah.
Because that's going to do kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And maybe save you $8 or $10.
And a 10 or 12 mana.
And yeah, potentially, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you TCG mid-price this whole deck, it comes to $99.
Neat.
So if you cut TCG mid out of here, let's say, I don't know, if you cut another 30 out of there,
Sure.
TCG mid 30, you could build this mill deck for like 60, 65 bucks, maybe 70 bucks.
Pretty good.
Which is really, really a budget deck these days. And if you did want to add some oomph to it, you could put that money back in with a Zelix, a Helm of the Host, or a Bruvac, because Bruvac is really gonna frickin'...
Yeah. Bruvac is the thing that takes the deck from being, all right, fine, you're playing your mill deck, let's go, to, oh, damn it.
Bruvac is the damage doubler, right? Like you think of Furnace of Wrath and what are the other damage doublers? Not Fiery Incarnation or whatever.
City on Fire and all that.
Yeah, or in your red deck, the double combat steps, right? Bruvac is that in this deck. So if you want to spend the $20 or $30, whatever it is, $25, let's say, you could spruce the deck up a little bit, but it's a slippery slope because when you run Bruvac, you want to do Traumatize, Maddening Cacophony. Then you want to find those that you want to run the tutors that find those cards, right?
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're cutting the Mindskinner to play Urza, and you're
or then Bruvac's just a better mill commander. So
yeah,
I look at this as an aggro deck not a mill deck.
I agree.
Right?
Yep.
And for that reason, if I did want to put a Brewvac in, I would relegate him to 100% the 99 and not make a Brewvac deck, even though I do like him.
Yeah, well, you have a Brewvac deck. And
Yeah.
It's not the same as this.
I also have a foil Mindskinner.
Me too.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, couple strengths and weaknesses. Mill is very much a weakness in that you do have to deal, let's say
90 damage.
90 damage 3 times, which is really hard, even if you have a 10-1.
It's not. You're dealing 90 damage once.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're milling your whole opponent. So as far as that kind of mill goes, you're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Like it makes the mill. I think it's fair and balanced mill. And
I think so.
I think.
Yeah, it still does have the mill stigma though, so watch out and do what I just did when you sit down and have like a little bit of a pregame. I'm playing this mono blue aggro deck. It's trying to mill you, so you have to take 90 damage, but it is an aggro deck. It isn't Maddening Cacophony Brewvac.deck.
Well, here's what you say. I'm not playing Brewvac. I only have one counter spell. Everybody's going to think, yeah, fine.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Perfect.
Good.
And if you're playing against a graveyard deck, maybe you make a little bit of an alliance in that game and say, like, hey, I'm helping you out, remember? So if you don't have your piece in your graveyard that you need, right? Like, there is some political prowess that you can kind of use.
Hell no.
Is that a strength or a weakness? I
Hey,
don't know.
graveyard, bro. If your piece isn't in your graveyard, I'm going to fucking put it there for you.
That's pretty good.
That's what you do.
I can foreskin it in there, and I can foreskin take it away with my Canoptic Scarab Swarm.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
It is. There it is.
Weakness, not a whole ton of graveyard removal.
Yes.
Yes.
Just the one. Is it just the one?
I
think it was just the
think
one.
so,
And
yeah.
and this is a big weakness. This is a big weakness, especially since we're only playing 5 pieces of removal. Ramp. One of which is at 5 and one of which is at 6. This deck does not work without the Mindskinner in play. Your deck sucks without the Mindskinner. And
Now.
that's... and it's a 10-1, so it's not hard to kill.
I like to flip that into a positive. Here's the strengths, is you can say something like, my deck does not work with the commander. So when your commander gets killed, because people hate mill, you just be like, I'm doing nothing until I have 5 mana or 7 mana, right?
Yeah.
The commander costs 3. Let's call that a definite strength.
That's
because
very good.
As early as turn 2 or 3, you can have your commander on board doing something. Like if you do that, Mindskinner, Helm of the Host, equip Helm of the Host attack, you can start doing your thing like as early as turn 4. And it's like, well, okay, you guys are on the clock.
Yeah.
You get like 3 more turns or 2 turns or whatever it is with the math. Like if you've got a Helm of the Host, and then the next turn you follow it up with cast and equip frickin' Fire Shrieker. Okay, you guys are milling 30 now, right? So like that's 50 over 2 turns. That doesn't leave you very much wiggle room if you've drawn a couple cards and you just haven't found your removal. So the deck can move quite quickly as an aggro deck if you're using the aggro cards in the equipment that you normally take.
And the way that it's built, I'll throw this in there also. This deck does just lose to Eldrazi Titans.
Oh,
it can't beat
Yes,
them.
you need some instant speed graveyard removal.
Yeah, and
Yes.
you don't have it, and the only removal that you have that would get those things puts them into their graveyard, and as such shuffles their graveyard back into their library so they can keep beating you.
Yes, you know what I like.
And if you try to flip over and just do the aggro strategy, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, I'll kill my own Mindskinner, hit you for 4, unblockable.
Yeah,
Nice 10-turn clock, bud.
yeah.
I really like in decks like this that have this niche kind of mill strategy. I like stifle and trick bind type effects, right? So you can, if it's a triggered ability that's shuffling something back into the graveyard, great. If there's anything that you can think of in blue or artifacts that say if something would go to the graveyard, you exile it instead, like a Leyline of the Void or a Rest in Peace, but in blue or artifacts, like those are the kinds of things that you have to really search for. And in this deck, bonus points if they're on a creature, because then you can use that creature to further mill, even though that's not what the creature says on it.
To beat ass, yes.
Yep.
I just thought of something that would have been really good, and then I missed it. I'll think of it later, and I'll put it in comments below.
We'll talk about it next week on the pre-show.
There we go.
If you wanted to pick this deck up, where would you go?
I would go to FusionGamingOnline.com, where I could use special promo code CCO Summer to save 5% off all the stuff that's in this deck, and then have it shipped to my house.
5% off your bouncing Beebles, bubbling Beebles, your clammy Prowler, and your Mindskinners, your rapid hybridizations. You could save 5% on any of that stuff. And if you're going to buy the whole deck, you're going to spend over 100 Canadian dollars. You get 10% of that back in store credit when you use CCO perks.
Yeah.
So that's like a couple booster packs back in store credit.
Yeah, or if you're building for something like Trash Ante, that's like 25% of another deck. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, I'm telling you.
Good. Okay.
So check them out if you like that. Check out if you're in Western Canada, check out the award-winning Quark. It's not a stout, it's a lager, it's a fucking beer.
It's beer and it's delicious.
Pile
And
of
you
Bones.
should drink
it's very
it.
good, and you should have some. They're very good. We've had them here. Try them out. They're delicious. Pile of Bones Brewing Co. If you're in Regina, check out the tap room. They have very good food and very nice people down there. We really appreciate them. People we appreciate, Gary and the whole team here at DAM, which is Gary and us and a couple other people who show up sometimes, but we don't talk about them often.
Quark, strangeness and charm, just like you get here on Commander Cookout Podcast.
That sounds very much
It's
like us.
a Belgian blonde, something that neither of us are.
Yeah, I've never even met one of those. Neat.
Well, there you
And
go.
then maybe if I did, we would be friends. I hope we would.
All right.
So to you, people who are my friends, thank you for being here. And I think we're probably going to do foundations, hey? We're going to start
We're gonna
foundations
find
covers
something.
next week?
We're going to do something next week about the new stuff that's rolling
Yeah,
out.
'cause
Hey, products with MSRP again, SpongeBob's, Foundations,
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I think that foundations might be something to talk about.
Sure.
'Cause
Let's do it. I'm closing my computer.
It's been a long time since we've had a core set, so maybe we'll talk about why that is and why it might be a good thing that they're coming back on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!